Our guest today is our head soccer coach here at Ole Miss, Rouse, in year 3. Hard to believe. I remember when you were hired just yesterday.
Yeah.
Time really does fly when you're having fun. But welcome to the Manning Room.
Thank
We're
you.
so excited we're
Thank
here.
you. And I might just correct you there. Like, I'm calling this year 2 unofficially.
Year
right?
2 unofficially.
Yeah.
That's right, because you were hired so quick.
Yeah.
I mean,
year 0 was the first year.
Yeah.
Last year was the first full cycle. This is second full cycle. So
Can we talk about that really quick? Just that transition in general. I mean,
Yeah.
you helped. It was Utah Tech, right? From
Yep.
D2 to D1.
Yep.
Next thing you know, now you're here in Oxford.
Yep.
I mean, that transition was so quick.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. That was a crazy summer full of a lot of adjustments and just kind of like making do with everything that came together that season. And honestly, like really happy with how our whole staff responded in that first season and the team and, how they, chose to bought into new processes. And last year being like a full first cycle for us, I think we learned a lot last year. And, there are things that we're taking into this year that we feel like were processes that worked, and we're making adjustments on things that we know we needed to be better in. And so feeling like heading into second cycle, we're in a pretty good spot.
So second cycle, we're going to redo all of that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We're not. No, I like the fact that you corrected me, because I feel like everything you just said is so much easier said than done.
Oh, yeah.
So what were some challenges that you all face as a staff? Because, I mean, you guys need some grace too, because you're learning on the fly, it seems like, too.
Yeah. And I mean, like we have a collection of people kind of coming together, right? People who were existing, people who are here, who were part of the processes, and, coming in and bringing, new ideas and different perspectives, and kind of mending and like melding all of that together just takes time, right? And it takes time for a team to be able to buy into those processes, but it also takes time for a staff to like figure out our language, get on the same page with things like that. It all just takes time. And so that's the thing that I've learned the most in these last couple years. And everybody says it all the time, like, oh, it just takes time. It takes time. And it's like, oh no, it actually does. It takes a lot of time, and just being patient and being committed to your processes, and like just being able to sit back and watch things grow while also identifying like, okay, this isn't going to work, or, this isn't a good fit for this group. And so needing to like balance between being patient and believing in your process while also being able to be flexible and make adjustments based on the group that you have.
I love that you're saying it takes time. It takes patience, because in a world now where everything is instant gratification, we want that national championship next year,
Yeah.
So I love that you're preaching time and patience, but,
It's a huge part of like the culture that we're trying to build also, right? And that's how we talk about it, that we want to build something, right? Build something sustainable, build a legacy, right? And those things don't happen overnight. They don't happen by accident. It takes really intentional, consistent effort and like ownership to be able to make things become what you want them to become. So that's a huge part of what we talk about within our culture. Like we call ourselves builders, right? And that's really intentional work that you have to stay committed to.
Builders, I like that. Is there any other themes that you really want to hit on with this team this year?
Yeah, this year the big theme that we're talking about more than anything is ownership, right? And so every single person is going to impact results. They're going to impact the environment. They're going to impact the people around them. And so what we're leaning into really heavy is the idea of extreme ownership, right? Like everything that you do, you say, the actions that you have, the habits that you build, ultimately, all of those things are going to impact the team that we can become. They're going to impact your own individual performance. And so what we've talked about more is like, hey, like we're going to own it, right? Like we're going to show it. And so it's not enough to say we want to win. It's not enough to say we want to be a great team. Like words are cheap. Actions speak much louder than words. And so what we focused on more with this group is the idea of like, hey, okay, that's what you say you want. Now show it.
I feel like with this team, it's so new, right? I mean, new in the sense that a lot of new faces. What is it, like two starters? Jack's on his phone, but it's fine. My SID's over there. But I mean, not a lot returning from a season ago. Are you excited about that? How what are the vibes, I guess, coming into this year with basically a brand new team?
Definitely a lot of new faces, right? And, we had a decent amount of turnover after the last season, like to be expected. And it was a really important opportunity for our program to be able to kind of build from where we were at that point and be able to kind of elevate where we want to get to. And so, stylistically, found players that match the way that we want to play, culture wise, like feeling really good about the humans that we have within the environment. And so, like a lot of new faces, but most of those new faces were here in the spring. So we talked about, like, jokingly talk about this as like cycle 2, but like really it is like your spring is important for setting you up for the fall. And so having a really strong development period in the spring was really important, and most of our new faces came in during that time. And so we only really have a couple new faces that we've added in this fall segment, like younger players. And again, that's to be expected. So feeling good about the foundation of what we built in the spring heading into this time.
So what do you guys emphasize in the spring then, in that developmental phase that you guys really, we need to be good at this, so when the fall hits, we're already there?
Yeah. So the spring is actually your only time to consistently train.
Really?
Because you don't have a bunch of games that are stealing away from your opportunity to like train really hard within the environment. And when you're in the fall season, you're in what's called maintenance mode, right? Like you train enough to address the concepts that you need to address for the next upcoming game, but you can't like dive super deep into training sessions. Like your preseason is kind of the only time to do that. And so you got to get like really smart in the fall with like film and the training sessions, them being super organized, but not like overly taxing because they have to be ready for games, right? And so the springtime is really important because that is when you get to dive into like, here are all the concepts that we want to address. Here's how we want to be out of possession. Here's how we want to be in possession. Here are transition moments. And so that's what we spent the spring building out, was getting a really good understanding of top to bottom who we're trying to be stylistically.
Yeah. And I love talking to coaches too, trying to get a sense of their culture and what they do to bond off in your case, bond off the pitch. Was there an emphasis on that as well in the spring, and you all knowing, hey, we're going to have a lot of new bodies here. So like, let's see how we mesh off the playing surface as well. Yeah.
Being somebody who cares a lot about culture, I do know that that's not going to happen by accident. Like you could choose to not focus on your culture and it's going to become something, whether you focus on it or not. And so for it to become what you want it to become, or to give it the best chance to grow into, what is ideally going to support the team that you want to be, you have to intentionally focus on it. So we do a couple different processes in the spring. Like we have this big house competition that we do. So we draft all of the players on our team we have 4 different houses. It's Harry Potter themed because we're like Harry Potter heads in our staff. And so we theme them off of Harry Potter, but it's also Ole Miss theme. And so you get drafted into a house and you stay with that house for your whole career. And so we have this whole spring competition that takes place. And so it's a fun way to like, all right, you're going to, be paired up with people who are from a different class and a different line than you. Like it's based off your personality. So they're people that are like kind of similar to you. And so it's a really fun way to build some like camaraderie within the team while also making it competitive. And so we've really enjoyed that. That's been a fun thing that our Oxwarts competition.
Oxwarts.
Yes.
I want to be involved. How do I like?
It's so fun. And like Kelsey Fawcett and Madison Pizzino, they've done a really good job kind of running with it. But yeah, we have Oxwarts competition. We have Slitherfin. We have Kiffendor. We have Rebel Claw. And then we have Hottie Puff. And so it's a really fun way to like, okay, we're going to build some pride for our institution, right? It's Ole Miss themed, but it's also like, okay, build some camaraderie within your team as well and do it in a way where every day they're competing for something, right? There are points on the line every single day, but then it's also like really fun, and they make a joke of it every single day and like make sure that we're having fun with it.
Yeah.
So.
Who's the most competitive house?
Most competitive house consistently is Hottie Puff. They are always on top of it, which is not surprising with like their personality types. Always on top of it. Rebel Claw is like super meticulous, so they report their points the most. Like they are on top of it. Kiffendor has some room to grow, and they are very competitive, but they like slack off in turning their points in, and they gotta like pull it together. And then our winner of the spring ended up being Slitherfin, which they were massive underdogs at one point because they are probably like the hot mess express of all the houses.
Okay.
But somehow they pulled it together and they ended up winning the spring competition, which was hilarious. And they're actually who's featured on this year's poster.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned turning points in. Like, how are we turning points in? What do you have them doing that they need to?
Yeah.
record their
So
points?
Kelsey designed like, okay, here are all the ways within a training session you can earn points.
Okay.
She created a Google form. So every day they submit their points that they earn for their house. And then we just do like a daily tally of them and update them every single day, just like you would in Hogwarts. You'd see the score every day.
So who's all the Harry Potter fans? Is it the whole entire staff? You guys geek out over? Okay.
I would say probably like, and this is something that we brought from the previous institution we were at. So I would say like, I am a very big Harry Potter fan, but Kelsey also like matches that energy. And then everybody else has like jumped on board with it as well. So,
okay. Yeah. So obviously you read all the books, seen all the movies.
Yep.
What are better, books or movies?
The books are so good. So I watched the movies first.
You did?
And then I read the books second. And the books are really good.
Interesting that you saw the movies first.
I wasn't a big reader when I was younger.
Well,
so I saw the movies when I was younger, and then I was like, all right, act like an adult and start reading some books. And so I started reading the books. It took me a long time to read the books because I'm not like great at staying on top of reading. And so it took me a long time, but they were so good. So much more detail.
Yeah. But also with what time, you know?
Yeah, true.
I feel like when you have a book, it takes time, especially they're like what, 700 pages.
It's a lot of pages. Yeah. It took, I'm not gonna like overshoot this, but like it took me almost a decade to read all the books. It took a long time.
Almost a decade.
Yeah. I mean, one of the books I remember I got stuck on for almost a couple years, and I was like, could you finish this book already? What are you doing? So yeah, the books are really good.
Okay, well there's your Harry Potter plug. If you needed a reason to get into Harry Potter, this was for you.
This is it. This is your chance.
This was for you. Well, I'm glad we could nerd out over something. That wasn't on the topic. I wasn't on my sheet at all. So I'm glad we kind of got off the rails a little bit. But personally too, I like getting our coaches to open up a little bit, just because like the human factor to me is like you're more than just a coach. I know you're a mom, you're a wife as well, and the reason you got into coaching is because you want to empower women. Mm-hmm. But I want to know who empowered you to get into this profession.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I had a lot of really good coaching influences throughout my entire career, starting from the first coaching influence I had, which was my father.
Wow.
And so like grassroots, like when we lived in a small town, he grew up playing basketball. He didn't even like play soccer growing up. And so he like learned a sport that he fell in love with later in life and taught it to all of us. And then coached all of our teams on top of it in like the formative stages of your career. And so something that is like really special to me. So watching his ability to form relationships in like a really meaningful, impactful way during a formative time of life and focus so much on character development, which is really what he was doing, right? Like a grassroots coach. Like, yes, he taught us about soccer, but like really he was teaching us about life and teaching us about how to be the best person you could be, the best teammate you could be. And so that was a super formative time for me. I also have an older sister who is, almost a decade older than me. So I grew up watching her play. Like I would be on the sideline of her games, and she went to college, and she's the one who inspired me to want to go to college. And when she was done with her playing career, she came back and coached me as well. And so I had the opportunity to play on a team coached by my older sister. My dad was the assistant coach, and my little sister was on the team as well. So like a family event every single day we were on the field. And so my older sister, Summer, super intense, like really organized how she went about things, very competitive, but she was like always pushing me to be my best and like never let me settle for less than the best that I could give. But then always was the first person there to like swoop in and like, hey, like you did great today. Like maybe we didn't get the result we wanted, but like you did this, you did that, you impacted this moment of the game. Like, let's just do better tomorrow. So having that kind of like role model figure that I had looked up to so much of my life, also, be able to help me make that transition from club and high school into the college level was really impressionable, right? And super impactful. And then the coach that I ended up having in college was one of the most intense human beings I have ever known, certainly one of the most competitive women I've known in my life. And like to this day, she's still one of the people that I call and like ask for coaching advice. And, you know, I like got on this kick of extreme ownership, and she's the first person that I needed to call and talk to. And of course, she's read Jocko's book extensively about it. And so we were able to kind of like rap about that a little bit. But she was an unbelievable example of what it means to be like incredibly passionate about what you're doing, empower women to be their absolute best selves, make no excuses along the way, be extremely organized, like have a plan for what you're doing, and then to take ownership of what happens, right? So having that experience during that phase of life when like your brain is like starting to like fully form and you're becoming an adult, and having such like a strong role model. And she was like very similar. Like she was a young mom. She took over a program. It was not easy. She was under-resourced, and watching her grind through that and then ultimately get to be a part of flipping that program back into what it ended up becoming was super gratifying. And so learned a ton of things from like very early days to this point. And at the core of it, what I really want is I want to impact women to be their best selves. Like I've had experiences as a player where it's like, man, like what is the why here? Like, why are you coaching this group, right? And then you have experiences where it's very clear. You're coaching this group because you want them to maximize their potential. You want like the people to become better versions of themselves. And so for me, that's always like stood out in my mind. And like I had the opportunity to play after college, and I did a little bit, but then learned I can do so much more for the game in a coaching position. And I can, you know, impact women so much more and opening up more doors and, you know, being able to provide a space where they can become their most awesome selves. And that's really what I want for women in the sport. And so those are kind of some of the early experiences that I've had that have got me on the path that I'm on today.
Yeah. One more and I'll get you out of here because you mentioned your playing career. You play professionally, Women's Premier Soccer League, right? You're in Minnesota and Vancouver. I'm trying to figure out how I want to phrase this. When in your professional career did that moment hit you where you're like, you know what, I feel like impacting in coaching, impacting younger women at the coaching level is my path. I don't know when that hit you, if there was a specific moment.
The time of which I was transitioning from college to professional, it was kind of like an unfortunate pocket of time. So like it was right after the pro league that we had for women here stateside had collapsed. And so it was like a semi-pro league at that point in time, the most professional that was, you know, domestic. And so it was a little bit unfortunate timing. Like I probably could have gone abroad, but like, you know, I chose to stay here and do the semi-pro thing. And a couple of those experiences that I had, like fine coaches, nice people. But what I was seeing was who we were putting in leadership positions to coach the most senior level players that we had stateside were people that didn't necessarily have a ton of senior level experience, like people who hadn't coached senior level women at that point in time, right? And so for me, I was a part of this and watching it and saying, like, certainly we can do better for women. Like we can put people in leadership positions who have coached women extensively, who understand their mindset. Like it's not like the game men versus women is like wildly different, but like managing players is a little bit different, right? And you know, they're innately going to be different in how like they view the game. And so I was in this experience and I thought, man, like I want to be somebody who can give a better experience for women in the senior level experience. So like zone 3, you know, you're no longer a youth player. I want to be able to be someone who can provide a better experience, like see players for who they are, help them understand the game, like lean into the ways that women learn maybe a little bit differently than men. And so that like inspired me during that time. And it's not like necessarily like a negative experience, but like just felt like it could be better. And I identified that there was an opportunity for change, and I decided like, hey, I want to be the change right now. And so hung up my boots and got into coaching right when I got back from that last season.
No, I love that story. That's really cool. Well, I know you're busy. I know it's a day off for you guys, right?
Yeah.
But you're always doing stuff. I feel like
we're doing stuff for sure.
Coach, thanks for your time. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too.